turn this off. And welcome, friends. I'm the most determined soul, CJ Beer, here with my wife,
Candace Berry.
And we are throwing down during this evening with the MDSoul Podcast.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us today, and we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. You could choose almost any other podcast or VOD out there, but you chose to stay around and look at this one. So yes. I really appreciate that.
Which episode are we on again?
I think we're on 2.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, remember we had the pilot, then we had the first official one. No, this is this is 3. Yeah, we're on number 3. We're on number 3. We'll have the other one posted this evening.
Yes.
On YouTube, and then we're gonna drop all of them this month like a mixtape.
Oh yeah.
On Spotify.
What's gonna be our cover picture?
I don't know.
We're gonna plan that out.
No, that's why I told you to. That's why I was telling you need to go ahead and get your pictures taken.
No, you're right.
He got money. Get the large. Get the large. Oh, that's
funny. If you don't already, we need that audio for that. Get the large.
Yeah. I have it somewhere. I gotta find it again. I gotta find it. Man,
got money. That's funny.
We got money. Yeah. So first off, how was your day today, and how was your week? Really?
It was an interesting week. Work was challenging, but in a beneficial way. So I've grown a lot in some areas. I'm a silver lining person, so I'm choosing to tell myself that it was a challenging week, and I'm growing as a leader. So I'll take that. And it was fun with the kids. We went out, to one of those entertainment centers that they have that's kind of targeting adults and older children. So it was really fun. They had a good time.
The Dogwood spot.
Dogwood, yeah.
Yeah, that's where because it was my birthday week.
Yes.
Birthday week.
I didn't want to mention that one. I was like, you mention it.
No, but it ties into that. So we did that on Tuesday. I didn't talk much about that on stream. And then on so you took the boys so they could get the same incredible experience. So it wasn't really my thing. It was like it was everybody's.
You were the test for it.
You tested it for
No.
Yeah.
I legit thought it was for adults. So I was.
Yeah, it was more. It's more like a rustic Dave and Buster's.
It is. It's just a differently decorated Dave and Buster's.
Yeah,
less lights.
Yeah, absolutely. And
less
then,
sticky carpet.
Of course, I had drill this weekend. It wasn't a bad drill. I mean, there's a lot of other things that could have been done during the week, but I'm glad it was just really, really chill.
Yeah,
my commander was
seemed like it was.
Yeah, my commander's like he wasn't the same. I think he was just. It was like the. On the big man on campus who can be more rah-rah than the next guy. That's what it was while we were out in El Paso. But now that we're back in reserve status, he's like,
I want to see as little of y'all as I need to. Yeah, not needed. Yep.
There it is.
I don't know, but you were real excited about that salmon. That was a good meal, huh?
It was a good deal. So here it is. So I don't dislike my commander or anything like that. He's a swell guy. I don't like talking about money like he likes to talk about money, and that's just kind of his thing, And going to it was the Edwards Jones building. Yeah. I didn't realize the headquarters was in St. Louis, so we went to their building, and boom. I wouldn't expect anything less. You're $1 billion organization, and you don't have top of the line food in your cafeteria.
Their cafeteria meal was. What did you have again?
I had the salmon, mashed potatoes, and this cornbread. Now
you didn't mention the cornbread before. This is the first time I'm hearing about the cornbread.
No, the reason why I didn't mention the cornbread. Oh, he got money. Hey. Get the large. You got another person there handing out cash.
Okay.
No. Oh, it's him downstairs. Yo, thanks, brother. Thanks. Appreciate it. No, so I didn't mention it because the cornbread wasn't like it was mushy, more like the texture of the corn. It tastes like cornbread, but the texture was like a cake pop.
Oh no! So you want your cornbread moist to an extent, but not like that.
You want it grainy, a little bit grainy. It was predominantly cakey.
Did it have bits of corn in it?
No. It didn't
okay, so they didn't cross that line. All right.
Absolutely not. I would have thrown it at them if they did. but
what is this?
What do you do that for? You're like, why?
Why? What recipe book did you get that out of?
I know. If it has corn in it, it probably has raisins in it.
No, look, I can't talk though. So he came home raving about this salmon and these mashed potatoes. Like, they were so savory. So I call myself like, you know what? I got you. I'm going to make you a nice savory mashed potato meal.
Right.
I put these like beef stew bits that I got from the store already minced up, like put my potatoes in there in the crock pot. It was going to be nice and savory. It was grainy. The potatoes came out brown.
Right.
It was not great. I just need you to know that I tried. So that overnight meat smell in the crock pot, that was my effort. Yeah. Even though you woke up and you're like, dang, I don't see that meal anywhere. Yeah. It's because it was grainy and nasty. Yeah. Don't buy stew meat.
Yeah, it's all good. And wait, hold on. Oh, you did you finish? Yeah, I finished my command time a while ago. I finished my command time 2019. So I got I got promoted in 2019. They called me up to the S3 shop. Yeah. And then I got, I did my time. They removed me from command. I did the S3 time, promoted me, and then I moved somewhere else. So now I'm in another unit. And that whole time I was in El Paso, I was operating as a major, but I wasn't in the S3. I guess it was my extended, what is my not additional duty, I can't think of the term of it right now because I'm not prepared to talk about it. But
I switch into that military.
I had to switch into that military mode. But no, CO is beneath me. I'm a field grade. Been a field grade for 3 years. That's crazy. And right now I'm in ILE. That's nuts. Yeah. And that's nuts. It's crazy.
ILE. Yep. Yep. Preparing for the next one already.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, anywho's, what we are on today though is, let's first hit on the movies, and after that we're gonna talk about your games that you're playing, because we wanted to get back to that focus there, and let me turn that chat off, right, because it's all on me. Nobody can see my pretty face, but they can see your pretty face. So let's move that over here. So far we watched Hocus Pocus.
Yes.
Give it a thumbs up.
Just go in knowing what you're going into, right? Don't
Right. It's not better than the first one.
Right.
Fear Street, 1994, good. Don't listen.
Meh.
Malevolent, I liked it. She didn't.
Yeah.
Bye Bye Man, kind of.
I like Bye Bye Man.
It's kind of a mid thumb right there. Uma, it was okay. We knew what they were trying to go for, but it didn't hit the way it was supposed to. The Right was. No, we couldn't find that anywhere. Yep. The Right. Fear Street, 1978. It was solid.
I liked all of the Fear Street ones. We hit all three, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Apostle,
they were solid.
Apostle was a little iffy. Wait, hold on. Our lizard is like aggressively attacking.
Can I go get him?
No. He's aggressively attacking the window. And he's banging on the window, and she's like, "I want to get him." I'm like, "Absolutely not, because we're not gonna." Yeah,
he doesn't look really calm right now. He'd be all over the place.
Well, in addition, we don't want to condition the animal to think that that's the way you get attention.
He needs to use his words.
Not even words. Just we're not going to condition the animal for bad habits, right?
Okay.
But then after that,
lizard whisperer.
we were looking at the Apostle. And the Apostle, I didn't know what was going on with that movie, honestly.
Right. It didn't hold my attention at all.
It didn't at all,
because I couldn't keep up.
And then
it wasn't that it was so like complex that you can't keep up.
It was just like boring. Like the English accents. There's nothing wrong with the English accent, but just the English accent didn't allow me to keep up with the story.
I gotta really pay attention to
those. Yeah, absolutely. And then there's the old nasty lady drinking. It's stupid. And I was like, what am I watching? And then the Influence, we immediately shut that one off.
Yeah.
That was a foreign film.
No, we would say immediately. We gave it a good 15-20 minutes, right?
That's immediately in my book. You got to give something at least an hour.
That's half the movie. You give it an hour, you may as well watch the whole movie.
And then like, I can't do this no more. So that one is like a hard no. And we turned it off. Constantine, we were about to start that, but what we got on is Hellraiser. So we spent the last 3 days, because we were watching it late, right? Yeah, we saw Smile already. Smile was pretty solid.
Yeah.
The last 3 days, it wasn't that it was a bad movie. We were just tired.
Yeah, and I could be tired and a better movie carry me through that tiredness. This one
Right.
wasn't good enough to make me still.
And
stay
Hellraiser
awake.
wasn't even on our list. Constantine and The Right was not on Netflix. They took it off.
Yeah.
Then Seven, I think they did the same thing, unless I'm looking in the wrong places. So that's kind of what's going on. So we're gonna play.
I distinctly remember seeing 7 on there.
Right, but we're gonna play catch up. So we'll probably see multiple ones. And then after we're done with October, we're gonna start tiptoeing into the anime type stuff. So,
I thought you were gonna say Christmas.
Absolutely,
I'm just joking.
Absolutely not. It's November, and we're gonna let Christmas be Christmas.
I'm pulling it in further, guys.
Absolutely not.
Next year, I'm gonna get you.
So Seabrook says that Smile was a made-for-TV film.
That's what you
but
said.
wants to see it.
Didn't you say it seemed like it was? They were trying to like structure the show.
It looked like it. I don't necessarily disagree with any of that. I think my take on it is, as I said before, there wasn't enough build up. They try to get you with the jump scares, but instead they should have just built up with a whole bunch of creepy stuff and potential jump scares. And they're like, psych, I didn't scare you.
Right.
You thought it was going to be there. And then finally at the end, just ramp it up.
It was a little chaotic.
Right. But I think that would have made a very good TV show.
Yeah.
Similar to American Horror Story. Now, hear me out. So if you break down each thing based on the jump scare or the major event that happened, that would be the ending of the show. So like the very first scene and the girl cuts her throat, that whole thing should have been building up and developing the character of her husband, who her husband is, who she is, who her ex-boyfriend is, and then her sister and her brother-in-law. And so you see the dynamic and see that work is stressing her out. And the icing on the cake was when the patient committed suicide, and that's how that episode. And that's how the episode ends, right? And then the next one is her dialogue and her actual relationship between her and her sister. And then, then that whole cat debacle that happened.
Yes.
That would end that episode.
I'd forgotten about that one.
Exactly. So that would end that episode, you know? And then
so it could have been structured as what, like a 5-part series or a full TV series? Like an hour each time.
I would say a series very similar to the ones that are like 45 minutes to an hour, like Westworld, and then build upon it like that. And I think it could have been easily 10, 12 episodes. And like I said, it just each one just builds upon, and it's not a jump scare; it's a suspense thriller.
Okay.
And at the end, because you think about it, the jump scare, if they didn't jump scare you. The approach to the movie would have been a whole lot different. Thus, me saying what I said before, the ending, like, oh my God, what is that?
Yes.
Not that it's just a CGI thing or it had so many mouths. That's kind of where I'm at. I said I need to see the new Bleach, Saw Chainsaw. Yeah, we're the first one for anime shows that we're gonna check out. Is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So we're following along. So I have the first 3 books.
Okay.
So we can read that now. So in our free time, I think what we
story time by the fireplace.
Yes, because I was thinking about that, like kind of shutting down the house at 9.
Yes.
Have the boys start reading and stuff like that at 9. They go to bed at 9:30. We keep on reading whatever we're reading, until 10:30, and then we head to bed. Because I think that's some of our problem, just not being able to wind down. And so in between that time,
I honestly it's for me. It's not so much that I can't wind down. It's when we get an opportunity for the day to slow down. I like you and I like hanging out with you. So a lot of the stuff that we do, we just kind of sit up in the bed and they're just enjoying company. I can wind down. It's just I'm like, I don't want to go straight from work throughout the whole day to, all right, bedtime. I want to enjoy some time with you.
Right. So I think like if we aggressively, because typically all the stuff that we do that's considered after work or whatever, it's like 5 to 8. And between that time, we're in the house by 8 majority of the time.
Yeah.
So at 8, like, okay, let's go watch this particular movie. And then we can, it can creep into that time and overlap some of the time. But I think I want to wind down with like an anime, like manga book or something like that, instead of winding down to TikTok.
Will you read it out loud to me?
Absolutely not.
What? I want to hear your voices.
No.
I think you do great at that.
No, I'm not good at that. at all. So
I'll read it out loud to you.
no, I don't want it read out loud to me because I want to keep what I already know
all
about.
the voices.
No, I want to keep because it's gonna. So some of that is I want it to. The way that I perceive the book to also kind of reflect in the anime, and say, oh, I imagine it like this.
I love doing that. Anything that's a book first and then the movie, you kind of compare what you thought the characters were going to look like and sound like and their height, everything.
Whereas if
even if like they deliver the way that you expected them to deliver based on what you read the scene.
and you're getting ready to see, you're going to read you're going to read that first book of JoJo and you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then you're going to see the show and you're like, no, I didn't think like it's in a good way though. It's like, oh no, I really didn't expect to hear it that way. But again, it's a good show. It's been going on since 1986.
I was just going to ask how many seasons. So this is a long haul one.
Yeah, there's
like Grey's Anatomy.
No. It's manga and anime are two different things. They're not the same thing. Manga is the comic book. Anime is the TV show.
Okay.
All right. So now the manga started back in
19.
Right. The manga started in 1986. So this guy, I forgot his name. I have a book somewhere. I don't know where the book is. He started way back then. So these are like remasterings and redrawings of what he's already created. So this is like the 13th edition, it says, and they're of them releasing this. And then the cartoon, I don't know how long ago it was released, but this isn't the first time. This isn't like a brand new thing. So now I've already seen the first season. However, I don't mind going back and watching it with you, and so that we can enjoy. But first we got to read that book, and then do the anime. I'm finding out the hard way that if I look at the anime first, it just completely warps what I'm trying to read in the manga.
Some of them, you look at the anime first or you look at the movie first, you don't have any interest in reading the book.
Right.
It's like it's just okay.
Or for that matter, you go, that's not how it went. But this is the original. This is the original literature right here, and that's the thing that's they're trying to make money off of this. You know, kind of with Dragon Ball Z. It's like, yo, you spent like 3 episodes explaining how you became a Super Saiyan.
Yes.
Listen, Kakarot. You're like, what? Vegeta, come on, just tell us. Just say, hey, I got angry and I blew up a space rock, right?
Yes.
And then when you read the comic, it's a little bit shorter, and you're like, oh, but they were trying to stretch it a little bit.
Yeah.
Trying to, get money, make money.
That's interesting. So the pace of the movie versus the anime, you want to pay attention to as well. I would not have thought to think about that, but yeah.
And then there's little details that you might miss out on.
Pace. Interesting.
So here goes another comment. If you read it, make sure you push up your brush up on your Japanese.
Okay.
Yes. And so I mean, because the context does matter, or for that matter, just certain phrases so that you can relate to other people, like nani. It's like, that means what? So it's just the way they say it, So brush up on a little bit of it so you can understand, or just understand Japanese culture.
I like it.
So then there it is. They're saying sub is better than dub. So
yeah.
It depends. So
I can just like one of the movies we watched this week was dubbed. It was like French or something, and they dubbed it English. That is more distracting for me than having to read subtitles.
My argument is it depends on what it is. If I'm folding clothes or I'm multitasking, I need it on dub. I need it on dub. And most anime that I'm watching, what we're probably going to be watching, it's one of like we did. Man, what was the one with the gambling and 7 Deadly Sins? And there's a couple of them when we used to get up at the same time as I was going to the school, and you were getting ready for work. We watched the anime together as we were getting ready. But if it was on sub, we wouldn't know what was going on.
You're right, because we sure were. It was multitasking. Yep.
Right, and
it's rare that we are not multitasking while we're watching something.
Right, absolutely. So I think with me and you specifically, it's going to be it's probably going to be dub, because you don't like to sit still and I don't like to sit still.
That's
either.
Exactly what it is.
And I'm not willing to pause the thing so you can sit there and read everything else there's that's there. They're calling me a poser, but I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. There's a time and place. There's a time and place for sub, but I'm just like, as we're watching it together, I don't know. Like for example, another example is don't do this at home. Don't do this anywhere. I turn my phone on, I use YouTube and put it on in my car, right? So I'm listening passively to what's going on. And then every once in a while, when I know there's a straightaway, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I keep on driving, you know. But it's not like I'm just staring and watching it and driving at the same time. But I'm listening as if it's a podcast. So there's a couple of anime that's heavy in dialogue, like the rah 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 or Death Note. When we were watching Death Note, most of my Death Note watching was on the way to work, you know, straight away, and I'm listening because.
Did you rewatch that with me? Because I remember watching that end to end. So you must have been watching it multiple times.
No, I watched it because I was missing stuff. I was like, obviously because I was driving. So I'm listening. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Then I was like, I'm gonna sit down.
And it's actually, you didn't get to see it either.
Right, exactly. So I didn't. So I mean, I enjoy anime in general, you know, like even with the manga, I go back and look at I read it, then I go back and look at the pictures, you know, and like, oh, okay, I see why that did that, you know, just trying to figure it out. Same Soul Eater's like that. There's a lot of anime that's like that. So,
okay. So I'm after we get through this one, the next one that we watch, I want you to have it be one of the ones that either you already have the comics upstairs to, because I want to do that comparison on each one.
Yeah, absolutely. But getting back to the scary movies.
We sure did take a whole.
I know we did. He said, "Wait, hold on! I can't believe I loved you like a brother and joined the same frat." Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Dubs.
Yeah, that's fair. So the ones we have to catch up on now is Constantine, Seven, Ash versus Evil Dead, Army of the Dead, Sinister,
zombies,
and so all these we probably could get caught up on easily.
Oh, is Prey a horror movie?
I think no, it's the new Predator
You're
prequel.
right. Okay. Yeah.
So it's not. It's a slasher.
It qualifies.
And then The Devil's Doorway, I've heard is all right. It was decent or what have you. But between all those, I think this would be this week is perfect for watching and getting prepared for all the scariness. Especially, man. So I'm trying to.
We should have ranked these like by Rotten Tomato percentage, so that the closer we get to Halloween, the worse it gets.
You didn't understand what we were gonna do, so that's the reason why it's not like that.
Oh wow.
Because I invested in the list and you didn't.
Well, now we know. Next year we'll do it.
Next year, because we plan on doing this for a while, so and we're enjoying this. Wrinkles the Clown, that's going to be interesting.
I've never heard of that. Is that sounds like a movie that's just older? Is that new?
I can't remember. I just was picking things and doing suggestions off of what some of the community saying, hey, check this one, check this one out. But the one that I want to hit on right now is Hellraiser, what we were watching. So again, it wasn't a bad movie. I don't think it was bad at all.
It was just slower paced, and I think that's what it was for me. It's slower paced in the style of older movies. I think the further along we get, the more we get complexity, and the faster paced the movies are. And that even though it was visually very engaging, and there were some parts that just kind of turned my stomach. It was good in that respect, but it was such a slow pace that I'd get bored, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna finish. It's one of the movies you're like, I'm gonna finish it, but it ain't gonna be finished tonight.
Well, I think they tried a little too hard. This is another one of those.
Yes, it did feel very.
This is a quote unquote remake.
Yeah, I have to live up to my predecessor's name.
And it's on. I think it's on. Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Yeah,
it's a remake of the old Hellraiser, but the whole Hellraiser was very gruesome.
Yeah, and I mean this one was too. Just felt
it was not gruesome.
Nah, there were some parts that you would initially fall asleep on that I was sitting there like, oh my god, I got nauseous.
No. So the original Hellraiser, it was like very, very gross stuff. So like your pet gnat is over here.
Mine.
So the
my pet is Lupe.
The original Hellraiser, for example. On screen, it showed the man's skin rip off.
No,
wait a minute. Stop. All his skin ripped off, and he's walking around and leaving blood trails.
I remember that.
And then he puts the skin back on, and you see his blood leaking through his face. Another part of the Hellraiser was she had no skin on, and they were French kissing and stuff like whoa, dude.
I always wonder.
Or another one was they were twins, and their face got caught in the machine, and the machine started turning, and their faces started to merge together and started smashed together. And the list of stuff like that goes on and on.
I hope the kids did not hear any of that.
Or the Cenobite,
we're gonna be up tonight.
His teeth were stretched, his lips were stretched backwards, and they would chatter every single time he goes. There was another one that was from the 90s.
These are burned in your brain.
Yes, they are. They were CDs in his head. And ingrained in his brain, in the list of stuff that goes along with that, goes on and on. But with this one,
compared to those, yes, this one was rather tame. It was still disturbing.
It was but it was disturbing. But they didn't try to push the line, and I think some of that also was that during the 80s and 90s, there was a lot of puppet play and there was no CGI.
Yeah.
And so you can see in certain spots, they're like, oh, that was CG, that was this. And that also makes a difference in what's being portrayed. And
so
what's
they
being
just took advantage of the technology we had now, and they overused it a little bit.
Like, for example, if this was Hellraisers of the 90s or whatever, or 80s, or I can't remember, the parts they kept on getting poked in there. Like, God, why do you keep on poking people in the hand? So they poke people in the hand 3 or 4 times in the daggone movie, right? It's like, why would you do that? Why would you poke someone in the hand? That's stupid, But if it was the other one, they would poke it in the hand. Instead of trying to pull it out, they would just pulled it upwards and move it. And so now you have this effect, and the person's hand is wiggling, You see what I'm saying?
That is terrible.
But that's what it was before.
It's not as bad as what I pictured.
It is. Probably worse. But that's what they were doing during that time. Remember, that's the type of artistry, or if I like, because it is a work of art that they were doing. The fact that anybody can do that, I thought was incredible. And this gnat, we're gonna name him Steven the Gnat. Or maybe Nick the Gnat, but anyways, Nick is a good Nate
the Gnat,
or Nate the Gnat, Nathaniel the Gnat, Nathaniel the Gnat. So with that, so I'm not saying that it was just horrible or anything like that.
No, it wasn't bad.
I think this goes into the category, call it anything but Hellraiser.
Yes.
And we would be okay with it.
Yeah.
But because you called it Hellraiser, my expectation was pretty high on the cheesy, corny, and gruesome.
Yeah.
But it took itself way too seriously. It took it
that
way.
is it. Yes.
So now, but
this movie could have used a little humor.
No, I don't. No. So when I say corny,
what's the one about the Airbnb people? Can't remember what it's called. Barbarian. Like, that had little sprinkles of humor in it. It's like, hey, we're not taking it's still a fun movie. It's a good. This one was heavy.
No, I don't disagree with. But when I say corny and cheesy, it's like the original Hellraiser, and the phrase the dude was always saying is "Come to Daddy." He would say it just like that every single time. Come to Daddy. And or Freddy Krueger.
We might have to go back and rewatch that one.
Yeah, I'll watch you.
You know what? No, I like the way you're describing it. I'm just gonna
No. It's even better if you see it. So
I saw it a while ago.
I know you need to see it again because you don't remember the come. Because if you hear me saying "come to Daddy" or whatever, when he says, even like,
no, is it like this guy's voice on this one, where it was kind of like multiple voices?
No. It wasn't even the Hellraiser guy. It wasn't Pinhead. It was
one of the other ones.
No, so and that's kind of my point with this. There's quite a few things that were missed in this movie because that's why I'm like, it's not really Hellraiser. So the original Hellraiser tells the story of a soldier that finds this puzzle box and he then becomes Pinhead or whatever, the leader of the Cenobites, right? And so this block, this brick, it gives you the power of pleasure and pain. And so each person that gets it, they're seeking out this power to live forever and be pleasured and feel pain. It's freaking weird. So the guy, he finds the thing, and he's trying to, if I remember correctly, he's trying to trick the Cenobites, and he's trying to live forever, and he's trying to like have the pleasure of power and pain and all this, and just being all powerful, you know. And
wait, the same guy who found it, the like military?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a totally different guy, and that totally different guy that's trying to trap the Cenobites. He has his skin ripped off, and the Cenobites are torturing him, and with pleasure and pain, and he's like,
that's terrible.
Exactly. And so he's going. So now his stepdaughter has figured out what was going on, and so he's trying to get her to come to him, and he's like, instead of trying to come to her and say, hey, it's your he's trying to seduce her at the same time. So he's going, come to daddy.
Get out.
So
that's a whole subplot line, little bit.
That's why I'm saying you need to go back and watch it,
yeah,
because
right.
remember that part.
Yeah.
Because they literally ripped him piece by piece with chains and all that. 7, that's a long time ago. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember some of the imagery though.
Cabin in the Woods, probably the best and only horror comedy.
I remember that one.
I don't disagree with that one, but I like Asher the Dead. That was a good one. The Freddy Kruegers later on were really good. Hey, thank you. Evil Dead was a horror comedy, but I think The Cabin in the Woods was has it beat. Yeah, there's stuff like that.
Do we have a horror comedy on the list?
Yeah, we have it. Ash versus Evil Dead.
Okay, good.
And then the Nightmare on Elm Street series, I will argue, is a horror comedy. When like once you get past the third one, it's like this is funny. That's kind of funny. And then the Hocus Pocus technically is a horror comedy. Yeah. Witches is a horror comedy. Ghoulies I can put in that in that one. There's quite a few of them that are out there. That are like can be considered horror comedies. Yeah. Or what have you. So,
cool.
Yeah,
you got a good variety on here.
Yeah, I have a great. There's a great variety of them. It's just some of them like, and the reason why I did it like that because there's gonna be some that are really really bad, and there's gonna be some that are really really good. You can't just be like I'm watching all the good stuff. You know, right. you gotta kind of sit through the bad stuff. And I think you got a good
combination of ones for me that are immediately recognizable, like seen them, loved them. And some that are new, and it's new in that I've heard of them, just haven't watched them yet, and also new that I've never heard of. So a good range of those, like old and new movies too.
Right. I'm enjoying all that really really. Child's Play is another good one. Yeah, as the realist. Yeah. Child's Play.
We don't want to show the boys.
We don't have that on the list, but there's two. Is there two? I forgot the one. There's a new movie that has released. Well, not released. I've seen the preview, and it's pretty much Child's Play with AI. Like Child's Play meets AI. Remember that movie with AI from the chick? So it's those two movies smashed together. So this lady buys her daughter a puppet. Now, I guess she's by herself, and she's like, my daughter needs a toy to keep her calm. She needs a friend. And so she buys her this Alita Battle Angel style thing or whatever. And they become best friends, and she's like, protect her, and the robot protects her, and then it goes left, and that's when it starts turn into a scary movie. But is it like a
sci-fi futuristic kind of movie?
Yes.
Okay. Where's that at? I want to watch that next.
But it's creepy because like one of the scenes is the robot, because the robot is with the little girl and is acting as a little girl, and guess what that robot does? It's like it celebrates and starts rolling its body. It's so freaking weird. It's funny. Is it called Melissa? I think it might be called Melissa. I don't know.
I was just picturing this really heavy, deep, dark movie, and then that the robot.
It is really heavy and dark because like it's in the trailer it shows her killing a boy. You know because you know the boy teases her and he's like goes and she's like don't hurt her and she kills her, and then like the mother goes, hey Melissa, turn off. Yeah, that's the name of it. She goes, Melissa, turn off. She's like, no.
When did this trailer come out?
It just recently. I can't remember how long ago it did, but it just yeah. So I'm actually want to see that one. But here goes to my point.
Remember we have
no. Hold on. Remember, that's my point. When I'm like, hey, here goes a movie that I really like, but if it was called anything else, I'd be okay with it. That probably initially was like, oh, let's make a Child's Play remake, and they're like,
oh, you're like, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like Mortal Kombat was like that. This Hellraisers, in my opinion, they could have been like it was inspired by Hellraiser, because it didn't even fully turn into the box like it would, like it didn't open up a portal like all the other ones. It was in a house. It's all sorts of stuff that we didn't get an opportunity to see. And same thing with the Mortal Kombat movie. It was gruesome, it's crazy, but there was a character that we'd never been in a Mortal Kombat game before, and then also the story didn't fall in line with the Mortal Kombat story. So. Now go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, remember we've got those tickets we can use, that one deal we got. Okay. So we should do that, because I will forget about them, and we'll look up and it'll be January and they'll be expired. So let's go see movies.
That's right.
And then what was the second thing I was going to say? We should watch those two back to back and see if you think that's what they did.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, see if there's any particular scene sequences or like dialogue that's they're referencing that. You just did it differently.
See, again, that's the thing. It's like if you watch Mortal Kombat and then watch the recent Mortal Kombat, they're completely two different movies. Like, so there's not even close to doing a comparison. It's just the fact that they called it Mortal Kombat is like, come on, dog. And then if you and then you go back and watch it, you're like, this has nothing to do with Mortal Kombat. They just had elements of Mortal Kombat from the game, and they threw it in there. But if they could have took several other things, and they would and like they could have called it, the Tournament of Darkness, right? And I would be perfectly fine with it, right? And
that's hilarious.
I'm serious, like, to the Tournament of Darkness, and I'm like, okay, and then I'm like, you know what? That has a little bit of elements of Mortal Kombat in it. Oh, that would have been. Then I would say, oh, that would have been cool if that was like a prequel or a sequel to Mortal Kombat, and I would have just left it alone and left it at that, right? Same thing with Hellraiser.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have had that standard to keep. Right. Like, oh, this is like, I'm gonna give this like a 80% or so just based on that. But if you have to compare it to something else, it's like, I didn't like it that much.
Right. So now this Hellraiser is, I would say the same thing. Like, oh, this is cool. Oh, that's kind of dope. Oh, and then they would have the box in there. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. They got a little box. Hey, that reminds me of Hellraiser. But instead of a box, it's a pyramid or some other shape. And I'm like, oh, that's similar to Hellraiser. Oh, this is a little Hellraiser knockoff. Oh, it's not better than it, but it's cool.
Hellraiser knockoff.
Yeah, but like, hey, it's cool though. I think
like accidental. Okay.
See, like you said, Cole is the future of MK. Stop hating. Mortal Kombat 12 is coming out. I can't relate. I can't wait for that to come out. This seems like it's going to be really good. It's going to come out sometimes next year. He was a boring generic dude.
Wait. It's coming out sometime next year.
Yeah.
How Mortal soon Kombat 12. Before a game like that comes out do you go like prepay for it and put it on your list and stuff like that?
Oh, whenever it says it's ready to be prepaid for.
Normally, when does that happen? How many months out usually?
It really just depends. Like right now, Street Fighter is supposed to probably release between February and March. They still haven't done pre-orders for it yet.
So every time it's like your birthday or Christmas or something, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get CJ a gift. I'll give him a game. I'll ask the boys, hey, what's the next game the dad wants to get? Oh, he wants this, but he already pre-ordered it. Save me one or two games to buy for you.
Don't get me no games. Get me jerseys and socks. That's all I want. Jerseys and socks from the family.
I want to hear that. Oh my gosh, babe, you got me this game.
Well, you know what? That I think that kind of segues into the next thing.
Yes.
And which is games. So I think if you were more heavy into the games, you would understand, like, oh, I'm getting it right then and there.
Yeah.
That pre-order is really it's important so you could get the extras and stuff like that.
Do they have extras for the first X number of people that paid for the game?
Well, it's you get extras just for pre-ordering, so it's not. And sometimes it just really depends on the game. So like, hey, you're gonna get specific types of skins if you pre-order
like
this
a
game.
Limited like cut of the game.
Yeah, there's a limited.
Interesting. Or like codes to get stuff.
No, again, I wouldn't say it's limited though. So it's like they're rewarding you for buying it earlier more than it is that they have a limited amount of it. Okay. So with Guilty Gear, they had special pre-order. You get the special Guilty Gear costumes. Well, so it's all digital. So not all of it, but you know how that goes. It's digital. So what do you mean that it's a it's gone? No, it's not gone really, because later on they're going to release it anyway. Okay, got it.
So they just get an advanced version of that benefit.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Interesting.
So, or if you pre-order it, you get to play it a day early, or in some cases maybe 2 or 3 days early. So there's different benefits in perks for buying it, and those are a few examples, but there's a few benefits and perks for getting the pre-order. So I'm like, as soon as it goes, I'm gonna get it, so I don't forget, because sometimes you tend to forget the amount of games that keep on releasing more and more. Hey, you just forget sometimes. It's just like,
can't keep up with all the games I gotta buy.
Right, absolutely. You can't keep up.
And that's
the collection over there of games and stuff like that we have. As a matter of fact, I got another one the other day, so it was like $30.
What?
Yeah, it's Castlevania.
What was
collection.
it?
Castlevania collection.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought I saw a Mario game advertised.
Yeah, there's another Mario versus Rabbids 2.
Yes, yeah, that's what it was. Okay,
that's getting ready to come out.
Did you play that one?
Yeah, I have the first one.
Yeah, I wanna take a gander at that one.
All right, cool. That sounds good. That sounds good. That's
whatever it was I was watching. I was watching the advertisement
game.
passively, but I was like, oh, whatever that is looks really fun. And
right, it's a tactic style game, so I think you'll enjoy that type of stuff in general. But what is it that you've been playing as of recently?
Metroid Dread on the Switch.
Metroid Dread on the Switch.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So we do have copies of that. The chat's asking, do we still buy physical copies like it's the 90s? And it's absolutely yes. I'm a collector.
Yeah.
So I enjoy.
I want my product in hand.
Right.
I don't want anybody be able to hack in to wipe anything. Right. Lose access to my email. No.
Well here the kids are dropping stuff upstairs. So there's multiple things here, right? The very first thing is that sometimes with certain games you cannot play it if you're not connected to the Wi-Fi or Ethernet, whichever way you connect to Al Gore's internet. That's you can't play, and that includes the Switch. So if you download certain things, you're not able to play it.
Yeah.
Or you're not able to get your cloud save data and stuff like that. And that's
so
really,
you're disconnected. You're playing
right. So that's really really annoying. So
yes.
I don't mind having more specifically for my Switch, because if I'm home, of course I'm gonna be connected to the internet. But remember, we went 7 days without internet one time.
It was terrible.
It was horrible. 7 days.
I went into the office for 5 days straight.
Yeah,
and we went a whole weekend without internet.
We whole
it was terrible.
Internet, right? You don't, and you really realize that the internet is a utility at this point.
Yes,
and it's not really a luxury, because like a thermostat wasn't working, and
I just couldn't control it.
Well, there was, but just in general, you weren't able to. There was a lot of things we weren't able to control because it was hooked up to the internet.
No TV, no. We
had
to break out the DVD binder.
No, it wasn't even that. Like our locks are connected to the internet.
All that.
So it's not. I know you're like jokingly, but no, like it's seriously. There's a lot of things that you can't do without your internet. So now
kids are bouncing off the walls.
I know. How did we survive?
It was summertime too. It was like, go get outside and go play something.
Right.
Yes. What do we do? There's a garage full of balls.
Right. Go outside. But that's that. So that's why I continue to buy, and I have over 200 Switch games, and some of that is me. Making up for my childhood. I only had like 5-6 games during my childhood, And I was like, I'm an adult now.
I can get what I want.
And that's what I choose to spend my money on.
Money.
That's exactly what I choose to spend my money on.
No, I choose to perceive that as you are just preparing a very fun layout for our grandkids.
Absolutely not.
Yes.
F them kids.
My granddad's
F them kids.
It's the greatest.
No, absolutely not.
Yes.
So let's get back to this. Let's get back to this Metroid. So you were playing Metroid Dread.
Yeah.
So tell me about it. Are you enjoying it? I've played it, but I want to get your take on it.
I don't even think that this is particularly pertaining to this game. I think because I don't play on a regular basis, the mechanics of it I'm real rudimentary with. Like I don't know. I could probably recall how to play Smash Brothers and and Mario and stuff like that because I just played those so much when I was little. But aside from that, anything else now and not having played since I was little, I don't have the mechanics. So I'm having a tough time just pressing the buttons at the right time and scrolling the right way and remembering the combinations and even the names of the buttons, like a bumper versus a trigger. I don't know. To where regardless of which game I was playing, I was going to have some struggle initially getting, and I'm saying initially like it's not passed yet. I still got to get these mechanics down. But aside from that, which would have pertained to any game, this one I'm liking. So in part of what made me pick this one was that I liked the storyline. It was kind of like a sci-fi spacey storyline, and that's something that I can like connect with and get into. And then I liked that they did and I don't know if it's something that all games do. They start off with some kind of storyline at the beginning and they're feeding you throughout the game. Okay, the way they animated that was really interesting as well. Like I like the drawing style and the way it looks, all that stuff too. That's my kind of genre of show that I like to watch. So this is
right
up my alley that way.
So I don't necessarily disagree with you. That this game is a little bit more advanced. I just didn't say anything. I just wanted you to go through because some of it is you have to experience the game. Especially if you end up liking the game, you like the story, you like the graphics, I'm not going to deter you by the level of difficulty and say, hey, that's not the one for you. So if that's something that you want to play and you think you're going to enjoy, sometimes you're overcome how difficult it is and start actually getting there and start playing, and you actually get better and get good because you just like the game. That's how fighting, I love fighting games. Yeah. That's how fighting games are. You get your butt whooped until you don't get your butt whooped no more. It's just part of it, or this style of controller, like an arcade stick compared to a controller, two different things. So it took me a couple months, literally months, to figure out and get the dexterity for that style of controller compared to the controller that I'm used to playing at home, or for that matter, this is a whole new system.
Yeah.
It's a whole new system. So when the Nintendo 64 first came out, like, whoa, what is this? So you had to kind of relearn after playing on the Super Nintendo for so long, and at the Super Nintendo had 6 buttons, but now you have 6 on the actual pad. You have 2 on the side. You have 1 under your analog stick, and then you have your D-pad. That was groundbreaking. That everybody's like,
and I'm complaining about just the little switch buttons.
Right.
Oh wow.
So now that Nintendo 64, or you can even say PlayStation with the analog, that is standard now, because you look at the controllers now. I wish I had a Nintendo 64 controller, but you remember what the Nintendo 64. But you look at here it is. Look, we got a Nintendo controller, and we have a Xbox controller, and they practically look just alike now. And I would have never thought that a Microsoft and a Nintendo controller would look similar to each other. Even the PlayStation controllers, it looks like this, except for the 2 analogs are by each other, they're side by side, and it's like, wow, this is the new standard of controller. So I think that's crazy.
So there was a jump between.
Well, I don't.
It wasn't just an easy, smooth transition to the new style.
No.
Okay.
So if you play games, it's not really a transition per se. It is a What's the best way? It's like going from it's like the progression of the iPhone.
Okay.
And the iPhone progression, it took away a button. It had a side. It felt different. They made it longer. They made it shorter. They made it thinner. And new camera. So the progression wasn't aggressive. Like, oh my goodness, there's a jump here. It was just like, oh, okay, that's new. And then you just kind of dealt with it. So now you have the Super Nintendo. All the Nintendo 64 controller is the Super Nintendo controller with the analog stick in the middle. And so it looked the way it looked because it gave you the option to hold it and grip it in what, 1, 2, 3 in three different ways. That's all that was. So some games said, hey, you're going to use the D-pad and you're going to use the analog stick. Other games said you're going to use the analog stick and you're going to use the buttons. And some games said you're going to use the D-pad and the buttons. Or some games said you're going to use all of them. Just kind of. But you already knew what it was from the. They just added one more thing. So it wasn't like this big jump that came out of nowhere, and people just had to adjust. If you were playing since day one, all right, cool. And I mean, look, Nintendo had 2 buttons, right? And then the Super Nintendo went to 4 buttons and 2 shorter buttons. Yeah, you see, okay. And same thing with Sega. They went from 2 buttons with the Master System. Then they went to the Genesis with 3 buttons. They said we're gonna help you guys out. We're just gonna add 1 more button. Then there's a 6 buttons. So that's kind of was. So with that, with you you came from what's the last? You came from the GameCube.
Yeah. Yep.
And so you kind of, until we got married, like that's when you got, the last one. And that's when you got back into games. So there was a couple things that were skipped in between, but the GameCube controller isn't that much different. It just depends on the type of games that you were playing on GameCube that makes a difference. So if you weren't playing side scrollers, if you weren't playing first person shooters, if you were primarily playing puzzle games and Animal Crossing, was there
a 007 game?
Yeah, there was 007
I
game.
remember that pretty vividly.
There were several 007
yeah,
games.
We played. That's one of the ones.
So and even then, not saying that you're not necessarily going to be good at either one if you play more than the other, but that's a big jump from just only focusing going side by side to going 3D and vice versa. That's why a guy that plays games, he's not good at all the games. He's just nope. This is a style of game that I'm good at.
Fair.
Like again, I'm a fighting game guy. I like 3D games a little bit more, and it takes a second for me to adjust to a 2D style fighting game. So yeah. So with that, with Metroid though specifically, you were just having a hard time going back and forth with I know outside of dexterity, just
doing anything that required you to press 2 buttons in quick succession.
Okay.
So like when we were talking about the scaling the wall, like bouncing up, jumping up the wall, bouncing between like a corridor walls. You know what I'm talking about? Jumping upward. That required me to time it the right way, and so that was difficult.
Right.
And then I think I was also thrown off a little bit by the pace of the game moving through some of the lower levels of it to when you got to like a boss thing. You know what I'm talking about? One of the ones that like are spiders on the wall, whatever. That one. It moves very quickly, and I feel like the jump to the skill level required for that one from where I was before, that one required a little bit more coordination and skill than I think the game had prepared you for up to that point. So, it out of nowhere started moving really fast, and you had to do some weird tricky thing that I don't remember what it was.
Right.
The previous ones were a little bit more tame and easy to figure out.
So I guess my argument would be, like, some of the expectation, if you have played a Metroid, if you're playing Metroid, that means you have played Mario.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So with Mario, it is a side-scrolling game, and there's a lot of those mechanics in there, and that's kind of like the baby step in there.
They're more like timing mechanics.
Mario had, I'm telling you, Mario has the thing where you pop on the wall, it'll let you grip the wall, and he's able to jump back and forth, and the certain things are timed. You have to time when you step on the Goombas, you have to time when you step on the Koopa Troopers, and because if your timing's off, it's gonna shrink you or you're gonna die, right? That's just how Mario works. So I guess the assumption is, hey, this is an advanced platformer, and you guys are ready to play this particular one.
I don't know. I feel like the jump from Mario to that, there should be a few more steps in between there.
No, I mean,
like just because you're someone who played Mario well, there should be another harder 2 or 3 games.
No,
before Metroid.
But I like if you take it like in the thought process of math, you're like, yo, after what you go algebra, algebra 2, geometry, then you're like calculus.
Fair.
It's like
Fair.
What is
Touché.
this? What is this? You're like, oh, you're ready for it. No, wait, hold on. What's all this stuff in between? And
what class did I miss in between?
Yeah, this is calculus. Right, exactly. So, and I think that's kind of what's going on with Metroid. All right, you did your algebra 1, algebra 2, and geometry. Now we're ready. Now you're ready for calculus. Like no, so I think also it's that so. Calculus is something that you have to do every day, and you have to do it over and over again, and you have to learn from your mistakes and learn the lesson and add on to what you already know. And I think Metroid does the exact same thing. So ultimately the way Metroid works, you can stay in an area for a hot minute and just let the critters respawn so that you can get that practice and the repetitiveness in there. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what you're saying. You're saying, hey, but and I think that's kind of my point where I'm like, the dedication. If you really like the game and you really want to get into the game, you would.
No, I was saying because those critters are scary.
Oh, they are scary. Okay.
They would just be redoing like they need I don't know.
Well,
pretty music or something.
Yeah, I get that, but if you're really
like,
dedicated, right. But if you're really dedicated to the game, which they expect at this point, if you bought the game, that means there's a level of dedication that you have, and you're gonna stick with it for a while. You don't have to. They don't expect everyone to beat the game. There's like an average. The average person, like 30% of people that buy games, they don't beat them. Something weird like that. And with the particular game, they just want you to play. They want you to enjoy with hopes that you get through it. So like even myself, I think I got like halfway done with the game or something like that, and then I got distracted with another game. So, but yeah, just keep it up.
How long are these games designed to last? Like what's it like? How do I phrase it the right way? What level of complexity or like how many days do you guys expect it to take for someone to beat the game if they're like having fun versus beat it doing like the speed run things on YouTube?
Word on the street, a game like that, especially if you're trying to collect all the stuff, 40 to 80 hours.
Okay.
So
a business week.
Right, but you're not a business person, so it's going to take about a month or two.
Yeah.
Because you don't got all day to do it. And it's again, it just really depends on the game. So like Mario, you can beat that in like 2 days, or like I was playing Cyberpunk 2077. It took me 3 days to beat that. I just sat there. I was like, no, I'm gonna beat this game. Like I don't care. I'm gonna beat this game, and I sat there and beat it. Whereas Grand Theft Auto, it's like there's so many side quests.
Yeah.
There's so many things you can do. You just get distracted, and then after a while, you're like, I'm tired of getting distracted. There's no progress within this game. Right. So fine, I'm not gonna do this freaking game no more. And then you go on to something else, and then you finally come back to it. So and I think with Metroid, that's kind of like I just need a little change of pace, and you get there like okay. Yeah. And then also it just kind of helps you take your mind off. You'll learn a new strategy in that game over there. You're like, you know what? I think I can apply that to this game over this way. And you're like, yes, I can. And you keep on going and vice versa. There's a lot of that going in. Yeah. Did you even enjoy Cyberpunk, or did you force yourself to get it? Oh, you know what? I did enjoy Cyberpunk. There was quite a few things that I just didn't like about it. Like I like the idea of it. I like the idea of Cyberpunk, but I didn't like that it didn't put me in the environment. You know what I'm saying? Like Metroid, it kind of puts you there, right. and like you almost literally feel like you're in that yes, in the game, right? Whereas Cyberpunk, it's a distant future, and there's obviously it's called Cyberpunk, and you got all this cool, but I wasn't able to put myself in that person's shoes to completely submerge myself into the game. They had side quests, and then as soon as I realized it's side quests, I'm like, nope, gonna go to the main game. Nope, I'm not gonna. Whereas with Grand Theft Auto, you'll sit there for a while like, wait, what am I supposed to do next? So you're just kind of wandering, and then you're like, oh, and you completely submerge yourself in. And the same thing with Metroid. You're like, I don't even know what to do next. And so you just kind of go back and forth, and now you're like all the way in the game. So I wanted to do that with Cyberpunk, and I wanted to enjoy it that way. But it didn't give me a reason to go, oh, I want to go level up. Oh, I want to figure this out. I want to talk to this guy, because they weren't like, it wasn't a futuristic Grand Theft Auto, or it wasn't a futuristic Witcher, or what's another game that's like it, Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption, it puts you in the wild, wild west. It's like you're completely submerged into this culture. So there isn't really a culture of a game.
I want to see what that looks like.
Oh yeah,
that
sure.
one sounds because I just pictured a whole bunch of different images, and I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, I'll show you. I don't think that's a game.
What kind of game is that?
I don't think that's a game.
And then when I've heard you say the name of that game before, but I never knew what the backstory of it was. I pictured some like post-apocalyptic type of movie character storyline, not Wild Wild West.
Right.
So and every time you've said the title of that, that's what I picture.
Right. I think
now I got to see what it looks like.
Right. I think of one, and what's mentioned in the chat is Witcher. Witcher is another one, and we've seen the Netflix show,
the series,
and stuff like that, and it puts you in this Lord of the Rings type time frame.
So I already saw this series, and then we'll go back and play the game at some point.
No, they're different.
Okay.
That's kind of what my point with Mortal Kombat.
Interesting.
Which is like, that's not Mortal Kombat, and that's why folks were like upset with the original Mario movie. That's not Mario. So they're kind of, there's this hope that it is what it's supposed to be, but no, Witcher. That gives me a reason to buy more Nintendo Switch games. Witcher is on Nintendo Switch, so
okay.
So that's something you can sit down. Now here it is. It's an MMO or RPG. I don't know. The chat probably can say it better than I can, but describe it. Describe it better than I can. But there's all these side quests. There's a whole lot of just figure it out and. Where am I going? What do I do next? Right. That's kind of like right now I'm playing Elden Ring, and I'm like, I don't know. There's a lot of grinding that I have to do where I'm just beating up guys so I can level up, right? And I'm sitting here like, when am I going to be good enough? Huh?
I would get bored at those parts.
Well, but that's kind of part of gaming, to get good, to grind up, to level up. Some people just really like doing that, and to go to a boss and just hit them one time. That's kind of the payoff for, like some people like crunching numbers. I don't like crunching numbers. That's why I don't have a job in finance. But somebody got to do it, and so that's what those games are for. Because in the past, with like Final Fantasy, some people literally was grinding the whole first CD, and they're like got to level 50 on the first CD. It's like, whoa, that's crazy. And then after that, they were just zooming through the game because they spent a whole lot of hours on the front end. So one of my friends when I was a kid, Final Fantasy VII, he got every single character maxed out on all materia, maxed out level to 99. So when they got to some of these elite boss like Sephiroth and all, instead of it taking some of those boss battles were like an hour or 2 hours worth of like fighting a boss, my eyes would get heavy and I'd fall asleep, But
an hour or two.
There are boss battles that are that long. That's why I was like, I don't know, Witcher. I don't know if Witcher's for you, because there's some things, they might not be like an hour long, but there's some battles that are like, they're not like freaking Koopa on Mario. Hit them three.
Exactly what I'm comparing it to.
Right, hit them 3 times, you're ready to go to the next thing. No, absolutely not. It's not. It does not work like that in all these games. So if you're not prepared for that, You're not going to enjoy yourself. So Witcher is one of those games where it's like, you got to grind a little bit. You go on to the next thing. You see a couple glitches, get a good laugh, talk to the people in the village, and you go on about your business. So, so you might like it. So yeah, we'll see. But there's a couple of other ones that I would recommend before you get to that, which is like Breath of the Wild with Zelda. That's a really good. It's easy to understand, and you can figure out the dexterity.
Spyro game.
Yeah, I remember Spyro.
Are there any games that are like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want
Breath
of
the
Okay.
Breath of the Wild, what you could put in that category. You got this third person like thing going on. It's free roaming, and you can you have a direction, but you ultimately can figure out there's not necessarily leveling up, but you can get different items and clothes to make you stronger. And if you are capable of beating the boss right then and there, you can, but you want to get as many hearts, as much life as you can, so that you can go up against the boss and he's not hitting you in one hit and you're done. So, or
like Crash Bandicoot. Do you remember that game?
Yeah. So Mario would fit in that category.
Okay.
So, but I know where to get it from if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Next, for the sake of it's the small wins, right?
Yes, it is a small one.
Right. So sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to play. Sometimes you need to play Donkey Kong, the original Donkey Kong, which is easy.
I remember that.
It's fairly easy to beat, and all it does is just reset. There's no real story. It's just like, Donkey Kong fell on his head. All right, start all over. It's the same thing. Donkey Kong Jr. Yeah. Sometimes you just need those types of games. You need the Pac-Mans and the Dig Dugs and the Mr. Drills, where there's no rhyme or reason behind it. You're just like, I just want to do it, So
those in my mind are somewhat puzzly games too.
They are, but they're not Tetris.
Yes.
And so
I think that's another reason why I'm asking about those ones. Those I remember being like that.
But again, I think the ones that you were like, that I think that you should invest your time in, is a couple RPGs.
Because you already bought them.
Yeah, well, of course. We got all those back there on the shelf. But a couple.
Every time I look at the action figures up top on the mini arcades, it's hilarious.
You think that's
because I keep forgetting that they're like that.
Playing the video game? Yeah. But
he's got them turned around, propped up against the front of the little arcade machines. They're like the little wrestling size action figures, and it looks like they're playing.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
But I would I would recommend Breath of the Wild. That's another one that was
okay.
But I would definitely recommend the Mario vs. Rabbids.
Yes.
Before any RPG. It's a little bit slower pace. It's a tactic style, so you can think a little bit ahead and while you're doing it. And then a side scroller that I think you might like. That's not Crash Bandicoot, because I like Crash. Crash isn't bad or anything like that. It's just
I remember having good music.
It's not. It's when you go back and play, Crash isn't what you remembered it to be.
I might have to do that.
It's just not. But I'll go if you don't mind me getting the games. I don't mind getting the games.
You see, I see what you did there.
But I'm trying to and get you to get what we got already, which is Rayman. Rayman is actually Rayman is actually really good. That's how the boys, our kids, actually got pretty daggone good at side-scrolling video games by playing Rayman, and because there's a little bit of rhythm. Yeah. There's a side-scrolling. There's a little bit of strategy. There's a little bit of story. That might be something you want to get into next to, like, okay, Metroid is a little bit too advanced, even though you are enjoying it. Or are you not?
Yeah, I am.
You are enjoying it. And then there's
scary parts. They get me.
Yeah, it can be startling. It's because it's very suspenseful. Like that white robot that comes around and just stabs you out of nowhere. He's like, what? You can beat it, but neither here nor there. But Rayman is a really good one. I'm too far ahead to go back and beat it for you.
No, on mine. On the one I was playing.
No, absolutely not. I'm not doing that because I'm far enough. No, it's not against the rules, because I just don't want to do that because I'm so far ahead in the game.
You were like, it can be beat. I took that as an offer.
No, absolutely not. So, but yeah, Rayman probably be the next game that I would tell you to invest in. Okay. Maybe.
Well, you do already have that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe next stream we'll go game by game or something like that. There's a lot of them. That could be the whole stream.
I would love to do that because I'm looking right there. Whatever that one is, it's orange and green and black. I want you to.
That's Splatoon.
I wanted you to give me backstory on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that CT flipped it inside out. That's not the right cover.
Yeah.
Well,
I think he told me that.
Like, that's one of the cool things. Did someone see my underwears? You better not see my underwears when I turn my back. But see, that's the cool thing about Splatoon. You got this, and then that's the original stuff on there.
Okay.
But this is the one. Well, this fire emblem. It's this is the RPG I was talking about. Mm-hmm. Well, one of them. Like it has like 3 versions of it already. But you flip on the back. I think it can go 2 players. I'm not sure. So that might be one I can just sit down and help you with also.
Yeah, 1 or 2
and
players.
we can kind of do it together.
Okay.
I think that would be a fun thing to do, just going and doing stuff together. But yeah.
This looks like Sailor Moon but with extra characters and like a knockoff of it.
No. It's more like a mystical it's not 7 Deadly Sins. Because this is like a little bit before medieval, so they're adding like magic spells. This is like imagine Merlin. Mm-hmm. So there's the Dark Ages, there's medieval. I don't know the order, but it's like whichever time period it is when it was a combination of luxury, magic, and Dark Ages. Mm-hmm. That's what that is.
Interesting.
With the hint of technology. So Phantasy Star, I know you haven't played that one, but Phantasy Star kind of fits in this category where it has like a fantasy, a little bit of technology, not a whole lot. Mm-hmm. Another really, really good one is Monster Hunter.
I heard you mention that one.
That's a really good. I enjoy that thoroughly, and you're just going around just hunting monsters. Really,
is it like scary?
No, there's not like a jump
like
scare.
Like zombie monsters?
No.
Okay.
It's like prehistoric monsters, right? So you go in there and you're like a high speed.
Can you play that with me one day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like a high speed caveman. So you have
I'm picturing you said high speed and I had multiple images in my head and then you said caveman and they just like.
So you're a high speed caveman. What? And so it's like you're in an era where it's like we figured out technology, but we're too lazy to actually do the rest of it. So now you're riding on like wolves. You're riding and you're mixing in magic and potions and spells. And then the monsters there, they're not really monsters. They're like dinosaurs. So you have like, I don't want to say. I don't want you to get like a visual of a real giant chicken, but it's like a T-Rex with feathers, and then you have giant lizards and stuff like that. So
that's funny.
Yeah, but when you see
T-Rex also doesn't have wings, so it's just this little meaty little thing with feathers.
Yeah,
okay.
There's a lot of good things that are coming out of those games. So I think you would appreciate just the way that game works. Let me see.
I want to see some of that.
I'm not going to show a trailer or anything like that, but I'm just going to show you the picture, Candace.
Actually, one day I want to to bring up the trailers for some of these games that you want me to play, and let's like look at what they are.
So you see right here. So you see that's like it's a giant chicken with it's a lizard chicken with wings.
That's funny.
It's exactly that. You know, this the cover for it. You know, I know you guys can't see it. Nobody can see it actually, but I'm just kind of showing her. It looks like giant lupe right there, and there goes. You know, so that's what the movie. That's not what the movie. That's what this game is about.
Your description that you said verbally was spot on.
Yeah.
Now that I'm seeing images of it, okay, yeah, you described it very well.
Yeah, it's exactly that. So and like I said, I think you would enjoy it, and you go around, either you destroy the monster or you can capture the monster. So
like Pokemon?
No, absolutely not.
Pokemon?
It's not Pokemon. It's far.
You can capture them in what?
You don't like in traps.
Oh, it's not
a freaking Pokeball.
I thought it was like the magic part. Okay, got it.
No,
interesting.
It is interesting though, but no, absolutely not. What's wrong with you? Don't make me come across this table. But yeah, Monster Hunter I think is a good one. But I think your problem with that one be the dexterity. You know, you have dexterity to do it. The
you
world
put it on like a 2-button mode, like one my left and one my right. That's all I should have to use.
There's not one like that. World Ends With You. There's two different versions.
What is that about?
Oh, it's
That
so
sounds like a drama.
it is. So
It sounds like a 007 like movie title.
it does. So it's about these kids that are like, I believe that they're dead, but they're not dead. And they're not dead. All right. So with them not be, because some of this I don't want to give away, because it's one of the ones you really have to follow it, and so they're not visible to people outside, but when they go into retail stores, they can be seen. That's what I'm saying.
That is weird.
It is weird. It's a very interesting game. So, and they have 9 days. If they don't complete these tasks in 9 days, or they're challenged for that day, they will be deleted and never known to exist by anyone or whatever. So they have that one, and then they have a new one that I got. Is it Neo? Yeah. And that one, there it is. It has a few new characters with a very similar storyline, but you see the art behind it is just incredible. You can kind of see where I get some of my art style from, where with the heavy lines and the darkness, like, no, that's not orange, that's orange.
Yes.
You know, I like stuff like that. That's not purple. I need purple. You know, and this is kind of one of those, like, they're done in solid colors with the dark outlines and dark lines. Kind of has like a graffiti style of Tokidoki and Hello Kitty, and making it more mature. And I'm telling you, this game is really cool. Another game that you sat down with me and looked at it when we were playing it and the kids were watching was Persona 5.
Describe that one. What was that one?
That was the one. The guy got he had an alternate like version of himself. And then he had to fight in the spiritual realm some things that were happening at his school, and it was dealing with suicide and rape.
Was that a game or a Netflix movie?
It was a game.
I remember there being a Netflix movie like that. Okay.
And it's Persona 5.
Pull up an image of that one.
Persona 5. Boom. And it's this one. And I remember we sitting down playing it, and you said, "No, this isn't good for the kids."
Oh.
And so one of the first things that was there, it was dealing with the ego of the coach, and the coach was being a sexual predator over the girls, and he had to go in that spiritual realm and fight. And I'm just paraphrasing there to where you can understand it. He went into that spiritual realm, fought the coach, his spirit person, as with him as his persona, his alternate personality, fought it, and then kind of stop the harassment, you know, and it's kind of keeps on going like that, where you're fighting in a different realm to stop things that are happening in the real world.
Interesting.
And so I don't know what it is about Japanese shows and stuff like that do this alternate realm that's
I like
parallel
the idea
to
of that though. Like that one, I would put on my list.
But that's pretty much what the World Ends With You is very similar to that. So there's quite a few of them. So it's and also just being out there, being a gamer. You stick with one, but you also go off and dabble in other things while you're doing so. Yeah. So like, because sometimes you're like, my head hurts. I don't feel like reading.
Yeah.
I've been reading all day. Heaviness. Right, exactly. The tone needs to change. You know, even Final Fantasy, there's some tones about, you know, my father wanting to protect his daughter, being a single dad. A friend losing someone he cares for a whole lot, being murdered, and just how to deal with mental health. And when you just that's an ongoing thing. A lot of video games is mental health. But one I think we should do together, and maybe that should be a podcast / stream, is the Resident Evil type stuff.
Yes,
and doing all the jump scares and stuff. I don't know how long that would be, but I don't know. We take a whole weekend to do that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe next weekend we'll do that. Take Saturday and Sunday evening and do that. Yeah. And we won't record it, but you know, oh crap! Speaking of recording, I didn't record this one. I got to download it. It's okay. I'll download it off of. Neither here nor there. But yeah, I think that's where we're at right now. Yeah. For this one, because there's other things that we want to do this evening.
Oh, time flies.
Yeah, the time does fly. Look at the time. Look at the time. But so this one's a little bit shorter than it normally is. We'll make sure that next time it's a little bit longer. I like talking about being mentally drained.
Yeah.
Coming from drill.
Yeah,
Granted,
drill.
it's not that it was that difficult of a drill. It's just draining to know that you have to go out and do something that you don't want to do, and then then people are asking you stuff, and then you have to stay behind and do something, or you're just sitting there waiting. Like, waiting is tiring.
Waiting is tiring. And you had some downtime today.
I had some downtime. And
I was surprised at what time was it that I got up there?
You got up there. You got up there at 1. No, you got up there at 12. We went out to eat, and then you left around 2 or something. So from 1 to 2, 2:30ish or whatever, and then I did a re-enlistment thing. That was a good. You didn't see that, but I re-enlisted 2 guys today. That was good. Great. But I was drained just putting on a face.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Having to hold my face and be professional and be mindful of how I'm doing everything.
You know, hi, how you doing? Hi, how you doing?
Hey, guy.
Hey, hi.
Hey, how you doing?
But it is what it is. But I think unless you had anything else you wanted to get off your chest,
no.
I think we're gonna hang it up right there on today. And I thank you for hanging out and chilling with us during this podcast. So with that, I'm the most determined soul, CJ Berry, here with my wife,
Candace Berry.
Success and victory. Don't block with your face. And we will see you on the next time. Peace. Hey, you made it this far. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you like this video right here. Also, follow me on my social media platforms that I have there. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, even Twitch. MDSoul, everything. Thanks. Have a good one, y'all.